So this is a recording of Touchworks. What we're going to do is I'm going to call into the system and do several different things, which will go through the entire Touchworks API set and exercise all the different interfaces that we created between the app and our dashboard and Touchworks.
Press 1 for English. Please select an office. Press 1 for Point Clinical Test Office. Press 2 for Athena Health Test Office. Press 3 for All Scripts Pro Unity. Press 4 for All Scripts Touchworks Test Office.
Welcome to All Scripts Touchworks Test Office. The office is currently closed. If this is a medical emergency, please call 911 or go to the nearest emergency room. If you are an existing patient or calling on behalf of an existing patient, please press 2 immediately. Please enter the patient's date of birth by using your keypad to enter 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 4 digits for the year of the patient's date of birth. You have entered September 18th, 1963. If this is the correct date of birth, press 1. Please wait while we look up the medical chart for the patient. If you have an emergency and need to speak with the doctor on call, press 1. If you have a question about your bill or labs, or some other non-urgent issue you would like to share with our office, press 2.
I'll explain those options more in a second. I'm going to press 1 to reach the doctor on call.
Would you like us to return your call to 310-561-8055? If yes, press 1. Please speak the patient's full name slowly and clearly. When done, press any key. Then you will be asked for more information. Now, please leave a detailed message. Please speak slowly and clearly. When done, press any key.
So what this is going to do is it's going to take my message and transcribe it directly into a task in Touchworks, and it's also going to pop on app, which you can see on the screen here. I'll explain it more in a second.
Once the doctor or office has listened to your message, we will contact you at 310-561-8055. You will be receiving a call back from 812-612-5829. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
So the first part of this is we give every practice its own dedicated phone number, an 844 number or local number, because every number that we give out can be programmed with a different set of prompts, a different set of behaviors.
You have a patient call.
And a different set of workflow. In this case, this is set up as an after-hours calling service, in which case it's going to use the app to do the after-hours calls. And when patients call in, they identify themselves using their date of birth. So basically, it acts like a virtual front desk assistant. In other words, if I call any practice today and I say, hey, I'd like to know my lab results came in, they're going to say, okay, what's your date of birth? And if there's more than one patient with the same date of birth, we'll prompt for the first 3 letters of the patient's last name. But in any event, any patient can use this. We're currently in 34 states. We handle 97,000 patient calls a month, and it's a non-issue. There's no patient training. People just start using it. Once I'm through, there's 2 things I can do. Now, first thing I can do is reach the doctor on call, which we'll go through in a second. It's managed by the app. The second thing that they can do is they have some other question. And the reason why the second thing exists is because when patients are calling the practice, they're calling for the same things. I need a referral, I need refill, I have a billing question, I need a medical record copy, something like that. What we'll do is we'll automatically transcribe the question into 1 or 12 different categories and automatically send those into Touchworks, into the appropriate inbox of whomever's responsible for those. So it makes a very efficient system, and also at the same time completely replaces anything to do with voicemail. Now, I happen to have an iPhone here, but I can have an Android. The app is identical on either platform. I have mine set to text me. I can also have it set to call me within 15 minutes. And there's a variety of different types of notification settings for the providers. The photo and the name is being pulled in real time out of the patient's chart. We don't copy data, chart data, or make copies of chart data. We just pull it as needed into the app. So when I click on it, it's going to pull up more information. At the top half is the patient demographics. The bottom half is the patient message converted into text. And if there's anything strange about that, I can always play it. But the point here is that doctors can screen their own calls. Before they get the call, they know exactly who the call is, why the patient's trying to reach them, and they can think about what they want to do with the call. And what I do is I swipe the screen from right to left like I'm rotating a cube. So I've got the patient.
What this is going to do is...
I've got problem diagnostic codes from the 3 most recent visits. I've got allergies and other information here from the 3 most recent visits. And then I swipe the screen from right to left again. I click on a button called Take Session, because when we're finished with this, the app is going to document the entire phone encounter and put it back on the patient chart by itself. Nobody has to document anything. It's already going to be documented on its own. So if I want to call the patient, I press this phone icon, and then I press this green bar. At first, it's going to call me, and then it's going to call the patient. But here's what I hear first.
Patient, connecting you with the patient or caller.
So I hear music on hold as the doctor, and then on a different phone line, it's calling the patient. This will call the patient with the caller ID of your practice.
Hello, this is Allscripts Touchworks. Calling you back. The doctor would like to speak with you now.
And we're connected. And it echoes just because both phones are the same wrong. However, not all calls require me to call the patient right back. If I click on Add Response, these are all the things the app can do on its own and call the patient or take care of the refill of the prescription, and I don't have to talk to anybody. So if I click on Prescribe Medication, there's no meds on this chart, so I can just pick one. And sometimes some of these fields have to be filled out because that's just the way it comes out of the system. It's pretty straightforward, and if it was complicated, you'd have to go work with the EMR. I could put notes for the pharmacist here at the bottom. It also pulls the patient's default pharmacy off their chart, but if I hit edit, I can actually send it to any pharmacy in the country, so I'm going to save that response. I'm also going to send some information, instructions back to the patient. I send in a refill for you, but we haven't seen you in over 6 months, so please schedule a time to come in for medication review. And then lastly, down here, I'm going to leave a note for the staff to take care of this and make sure this patient's scheduled. This patient hasn't been seen in over 6 months, so I send in their refill, but can you please follow up with them and make sure they've scheduled a time to come in for a medication review? And then that's it. Because now CallMyDoc is going to call the patient, take care of the prescription, do everything I just told it to do.
Hello, this is the office of Allscripts Touchworks Test Office returning your call. A patient at this phone number contacted us with a medical issue. We are calling back now with the doctor's answer. If you are the patient or a HIPAA-authorized individual, press 1. Allscripts Touchworks Test Office has the following information for you. You can repeat this information at any time by pressing 1. Please listen to the entire message. This message has 2 parts. Part 1. The doctor has prescribed the following medicine. Advil 200 mg oral tablet. Daily. The prescription has been sent to the pharmacy. CVS 16050 in Target. Located at 3433 Sepulveda Boulevard. Please call the pharmacy to confirm it is ready at 310-370-1021. Part 2. I sent in a refill for you, but we haven't seen you in over 6 months, so please schedule a time to come in for a medication review. Press 1 to repeat this information. Press 2 to confirm you have heard this message. Do you wish to start a new session with the doctor for another issue? Press 1 for yes. Press 2 for no. Thank you for calling Allscripts Touchworks Test Office. Goodbye.
So people forward their calls to that 844 number or their CallMyDoc assigned number. Patients call in, identify themselves with their date of birth so that when the doctor gets the call on their app, they know immediately who's calling, why they're trying to reach them, and the doctor can decide to call the patient back with the phone icon from the app or have the app call the patient back or any combination of those things. Now this last piece here is what we call the admin panel. So let's say I come in the next day and I click on this status note. Now it changes it to my name, so if people are looking at this dashboard, they know I'm working on it. If I click on request, I can read what the patient said and play it. What this is going to do is going to take my message. Response is a summary of all the actions that the doctor took when they're on call with the patient. And then the session log is a detailed log of everything that occurred from when the patient called in, what time the doctor got the message.
What this is going to do is it's going to take my message.
What time the doctor sent in the refill and the rest, and what time the patient heard that particular message. And as I mentioned before, this created a task in Allscripts. So if we go have a look at Allscripts for a second, we can see that there was a call made here. And here's my note that I put. I'm calling this patient back so that someone knows I'm already working on this. If this call was not didn't go to the doctor, it would just be transcribed here, because remember I said they can leave a message about their bill, medical records, other types of things. However, on this, we could see that the doctor did work with the app to make the patient call. And I got the doctor's notes there. This patient hasn't been seen in over 6 months, so I need to schedule them. So let's assume that I schedule them. And then I click on done. Right, so what that's going to do is that's going to be the equivalent on CallMyDoc of clicking on the archive button. We synchronize tasks with CallMyDoc every 5 minutes or so. So it's the same thing as clicking on this archive button. I'm going to do it by hand because that way I could show you where all this winds up on the patient's chart. So if I go to this patient's chart, and we look at documents, not that one. Everything that just occurred in that call is back on the patient's chart, and it's got a summary at the top and the detail at the bottom. So I'm always going to have a record of what happened with that patient call. Plus there's there's links in it to be able to get to the recording. So that's pretty much it for the CallMyDoc system for how it works after hours. We'll record another one to show how it works during the day, but it's pretty much the same sort of thing. Thank you and good night.